You're rolling.
What up? What up? What up? Oh, this one's long overdue, long overdue. My girl, Joy Taylor, our time in Miami is finally here. Both of our podcasts, actually, true story. Right before I moved home to Boston from LA, we had like a long talk the day before I came home, and you looked me straight in the face. And you were like, listen, Court, you have to start your own podcast. Like, you have to go solo, start your own podcast, get the whole idea started for basically a TV show that's based in radio. This podcast is the culmination of everything that you advised me to do. So, Joy, I wouldn't be here without you.
Yes, you would, but I'm very proud of you. That's what you got to do. And it's great. And I love the name, by the way. It's perfect.
All right, let's get to some football stuff. Antonio Brown. And I remember that I came on your show a couple of months, well, almost a year ago. And you said, do you think Antonio Brown's going to come back to the Patriots? And what did I say to you? Hell no. I said, there's no way in hell. There's no way in hell. And man, I don't know. This guy has been out of football for about 2 years. And my thought on Antonio Brown was, if he really loved the game of football and he really bought into the new life mindset that Tony Robbins is setting up for him, if he really felt the need to come back to the game, which he once loved, then he would have done it a lot sooner and straightened his act out. But are we really surprised? Are we really going to be surprised when Antonio Brown does little to nothing to help in the Tampa Bay Bucs season?
No.
Joy, I'll start with you.
No, I have no expectations of the situation. I really don't have a strong opinion about it because, I have to separate art from artists in this business. It used to be more difficult for me to do, but it's just, you got to talk about people despite what you think about them personally or what they're involved in. Obviously, at some point or another, it becomes too much, but Antonio Brown is back in the league. So obviously it's not too much. I thought I would be back in the league. I really felt like he only had two options, which was Seattle and Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
But to your point, he hasn't played football in a long time. And based off of the information, the abundance of information that we have, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
But do I think it won't work? I don't know. Maybe it will.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work, I'm not going to be shocked. I'm not going to be appalled. I think it's all on Brady. Like, Bruce Arians tried to come out and say that like it was his choice and it was come on. He's living in his house. It was obviously Brady who pushed for Antonio Brown. And look, they don't need him, but they did have a lot of injuries at their skill positions. So it can't hurt to have another wide receiver, but it's not just any wide receiver, it's Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
So if it goes sideways for him personally or off the field or in any capacity regarding that, I'm not going to be surprised. If he doesn't contribute, I won't be surprised either because he hasn't played football in a while and he's in a new system with a new environment and it takes some time to adjust to that. It's a whole new world with everything that's going on with COVID. So it's not even a regular season. There's a whole added stressor of that that everyone's dealing with. So I just don't have an opinion either way. If it works, okay. If it doesn't work, not shocked. It just kind of is what it is. Like, Brady clearly has an affinity for this man. And
clearly, that's an understatement. That's the problem. Here's the problem that I have with Tom Brady being Tampa Bay and just calling the shots. So he's wanted Antonio Brown clearly since he went and signed with them in mid to late March. Okay. Well, he wants to pick and choose his wide receivers. It's like the spoiled little boy in the toy store. He wants all of the toys. He's rich and privileged and he wants just about everything. Well, if I was one of the wide receivers or a skill position player for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'd be like, what the hell is going on? Like, why do you need more people involved in a single offense when clearly it's going to be those one or two guys that have, rapport with Brady? For example, Scotty Miller's never going to be out of the system because Brady loves that little guy. Now, if they fail in Tampa because they have all of the added toy, we saw what happened last night. Tom Brady, at least at this point of the season, continues to impress a lot of people. But the loss that's felt in the AFC East, I mean, I think a lot of people are rejoicing, especially for you, being down there and a Miami Dolphins fan. What is your honest opinion? And I will say honest because it's going to be with a twinge of slight disrespect, because you watched that man for 20 years take over the AFC East and dominate the way he did, and now he's out. So what is your honest assessment or opinion of Brady being in a new team and a new system at the age of 43? Is he doing well, or is he living up to the expectations, or what are your thoughts?
Last night aside, which was just an unmitigated disaster, it was the worst of his career. I think you can throw out, to use a Colin phrase, you can throw out your worst game and your best game. And whatever is left is what you are. I think from that standard, he is overachieving from what I thought he was. I didn't think he fell off a cliff or anything last year, but I didn't know what to necessarily expect. And to put it in perspective, I thought before the season, and said this, we need to give any team that has a new head coach or a new quarterback just a little more space to, we're usually very impatient with teams. We usually pounce on them if they don't have a good start. And, this is like, you look at the Giants, you look at Matt Rule and the Panthers, you look at the Dolphins with Fitzpatrick and Tua, and the Buccaneers, you have Tom Brady in a new system after 20 years in a new state, like a new environment entirely. They might not get rolling that soon, especially with no preseason and a COVID shortened off season. So from that perspective, I think they've done an amazing job. And if you look at what the Bucs were last year, this makes sense because Jameis Winston can be a very highly productive quarterback, but he also has an obscene amount of turnovers. And that's not what Tom Brady generally does. Now, again, take that game aside, and he has been a little bit more messy than he usually is. But I also think that has to do with the team. Like, Tampa Bay is not the Patriots. We know what the Patriots are, right? The Patriots don't themselves. They don't turn the ball over. They don't make stupid mistakes. They don't make stupid penalties. That's not what the Patriots do. Now, the Patriots here obviously are in a completely different space.
But they still haven't done what you just said.
Yeah, they're not
having turned no ball over. Still haven't in those few games that they have. It's just been
obviously the Cam turnover aside at the end of the Bills game. For the most part, they're not doing that still because it's just not the culture and the style of ball that they play. Tampa's a little bit more loose, and so you've seen some of that. But yeah, I think overall he's overachieved to me. Now, what will happen? Like they are definitely contenders.
Yeah.
But it's just going to come down to, are you going to, it just felt kind of like they were just forcing things. And listen, the Saints are a better team than we've been getting them credit for.
Yep.
I picked them to go to the Super Bowl this year for the NFC. You don't want to lose like that to a division opponent, and they lost them twice. So like that's rough. And I think it's telling. Telling because the Saints are a team that's really put together. They're returning the same coach, the same quarterback. And when you go up against a team like that, you can't make those kind of mistakes. They're going to take advantage of it no matter what kind of state that they're in. So overall, I think he's overachieving.
I couldn't agree more. I do. And I think that the vacillation between the national media and the local media and all the Patriots fans that continue to support Tom Brady on a daily basis, whether or not they changed their affiliations when he went down to Tampa, I feel like, it changes on a week-to-week basis, which I just don't think that anyone can really judge how Tom Brady is doing on a week-to-week basis until we get out of the season. Because it's all of a sudden today, when we wake up this morning, Tom Brady having the worst game of his entire career, 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, doom and gloom disaster. Oh my God, here we go again. Bruce Arians calling him out. Antonio Brown was open on a bunch of plays. Tom didn't see him. You can't really judge based on the numbers week to week because, guess what? We're halfway through the season. And, it really depends on what happens in the second half of the season, because if we remember quite clearly last year, Tom Brady went 8-0 and then he went 4-5, and then they lost in the divisional round to the Titans. So I have to agree with you there, excuse me. But I have to switch gears a little bit to the guy who replaced Tom Brady. Big shoes to fill. And I think I will be the first person to admit I never thought in a million years Cam Newton would be a fit for the Patriots. And Cam has surprised a lot of people in this region, just based on just his character, much higher character, I would say, in front of the media than a lot of people compared to Tom Brady last year. I feel like Tom Brady was viewed as just kind of this whiny little boy, didn't, bitching and complaining on the podium last year, didn't really take a lot of his lumps properly, a lot of fights behind the scenes. What has been at least your first half assessment about how Cam has fit into this offense, and how do you see it going over the next couple of games? I would say I'm not going to judge from the second half of the season, but do you think Cam will bounce back for the Patriots?
Well, I think they win tonight. Who are their next two games?
I think they've got Baltimore coming up. Give me a second. New England's schedule. And I did want to do this with you. Ravens, exactly. Baltimore and then the Texans. So you're going to lose against.
Yeah, I think they lose to the Ravens. I think they beat the Jets. They lose to the Ravens. They can beat the Texans. The Texans can put up points, but they're still the Texans. I think overall Cam has impressed me in that he's kind of adapted to the Patriot way, but still maintains his Camness. And I'm a Cam Newton fan. Like I like stars. I like Odell. Yeah. I like Cam. I like Baker. I don't know that Baker's going to be a franchise quarterback moving forward, but I like personalities because I'm in an interesting business. Mm-hmm. And so everybody's not going to be Patrick Mahomes. Everyone's not going to be Russell Wilson. Everyone's not going to be Tom Brady. Everyone's not going to be Joe Montana. Like everybody has a different personality. And I'm glad that the league is finally moving in the direction of let's let people be who they are. Like, let's let people, a little bit of personality, just a little sprinkle, so we can have some fun while we're watching this game that we're playing, right? Yeah. So I think Cam I would not have expected, I'm with you, that he would have fit the way that he did kind of right away in the Patriots way. But he did, kept his Camness, and he is the best player they have on offense. So whatever's happening with the Patriots this year is not surprising to me, because what did you expect from the Patriots this year? Like, I remember they were trying to pitch us on this Jarrett Stidham situation. Like, well, okay. Like,
a lot of people bought into that garbage. Okay, I got to tell you.
Don't expect me to believe that, right? Like, that's unbelievable that you're trying to pitch me that Jarrett Stidham is the future of the New England Patriots. Obviously, it wasn't. And that's no disrespect to Jarrett Stidham, but like, come on, we've never even heard of you before. And now you're replacing Tom Brady, which is a hard thing to do. But I also think the Patriots fan base is a very intelligent fan base. And while you guys have a lot of pride, I don't think you're delusional, like that you thought that this was going to be like this. You guys are just going to go back to the Super Bowl again this year.
Listen, there were a lot of people, and I got to say, so from the local level to the media level, that predicted 12 or more wins for this team. And it got to the point that, some of these people who I admired that were from the fan bases, I couldn't pay attention anymore. I couldn't listen to them. I had to mute their accounts. There is a level of delusion that lives in this fan base. No, I mean, I'm telling you, and it's not so much that, it's so much so that the information that comes out of One Patriot Place is so few and far between. That's what's actually accurate. Now, if someone whispers and says that Jarrett Stidham, he's, they really like his work ethic and the kid shows up to work, well, that's great. Does that mean that you're going to be good under pressure and saying that
on
2-8? I don't know.
We literally talked about it on the show the exact same way. I was like, so you're telling me that you like him because he shows up for work?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I think. Thank you, because that's and that's an original thought. I didn't even listen to your show, Joy, by the way.
No, I was just saying you're right. Like, what does that even mean? You're showing up. So he shows up for work. Like, is that like the literal bare minimum that you're supposed to do? Like, you show up for work? And I'm not attacking his character. I'm sure he's great. I'm just saying I've never heard of this dude before, and now all of a sudden he's the future of the New England Patriots. Based off what? Like,
because Joy, here's the thing. They used high draft capital on a kid named Jarrett Stidham as a 4th round pick. Well, Bill Belichick had a couple of chances, more than one opportunity to take a quarterback in this quarterback robust draft. Jordan Love, he could have taken a bunch of these guys. I'm not saying he's going to get a talent like Justin Herbert, who went 10th overall, the Chargers, but there were a lot of people that were demanding that he take some sort of quarterback talent, and Bill passed. And so they said, you know what? If Belichick decides that the draft capital that he has, that he would rather go out and spend back-to-back picks on someone named Devin Asiasi, now on injured reserve, or Dalton Keene, back-to-back tight ends, who both have done absolutely nothing for the Patriots, as it's gone from bad to worse. So everyone immediately assumes, listen, maybe Jarrett Stidham is really the guy. Maybe he's really the guy. And only until Jarrett Stidham bowed out at the end of, the spring practices, or, and just kind of disappeared as Tom Brady's stock started to grow down in Tampa, did they finally call in a guy named Cam Newton. So my problem with Cam Newton, at least early in the season, and it doesn't have anything really to do with Cam Newton personally. It has a lot to do with the quarterback system and Josh McDaniels. And a lot of people actually are comparing Josh McDaniels to Adam Gase because of the way that he's left. I know he didn't do anything. Gase was working with Peyton Manning. Gase had done very well with Peyton Manning. After Peyton Manning has not done well, has not done a single thing as a head coach in Miami or with the New York Jets. Now, as much as a big pill as that is to swallow, for at least for me, covering this team for as many years as I did, don't you think that Josh McDaniels is trying to make Cam Newton into something that he's not? Have you not seen kind of a change in the guard in the way that they've been calling plays for Cam, forcing him to step back in the pocket and go through read progressions and survey the field and throw the ball around? That's not really Cam's game. Are you surprised at how much he's struggled just based on the play calling? Because that's a huge thing. Why are you going to try to take Cam Newton out of his game, where traditionally RPOs and runs have created a lot of success for him late in the season?
Well, I thought the first game of the season where we saw Cam running around was like a good sign. I think that's why we were all like, oh, maybe this was like an amazing idea.
Yeah.
Because to your point, everyone was like, Cam's not a fit in New England, like personality wise or stylistically. Mm-hmm. This doesn't fit. But then the game one, we were like, oh, so they're going to change. They're going to adapt to Cam. I do think there's a couple things in play. One, obviously the New England system is not the easiest to learn. Yeah. And I think Cam is completely dedicated. I'm not saying like he's not able to learn it or whatever, because that was the other thing, like, oh, like, is Cam gonna be able to pick it up? Like, I think he is, but it's a different style for him, obviously. The other thing is they don't have any weapons at all. Yeah. So they're forcing him to throw to not a high level of talent. So that's also an issue. And, their offensive line isn't the same. That's also an issue.
Yeah.
And I think that they don't want Cam to run that much because Cam has had injury issues before. And a lot of that is because he takes big hits and he runs a lot. Mm-hmm. So I think there's not one particular thing in play. Like, yes, there is something brewing to the Josh McDaniels thing. I think we can probably wait a little longer to make that assessment because it's only been Cam Newton.
Yeah.
So I don't want to jump straight from, straight to Adam Gase might be a little extreme.
I know. I mean, listen, I tweeted that, and there was a guy named Dov Kleiman who was on the NFL. He's on Twitter, and he was like, I looked at this a little closer, and this is the tweet that I sent out because I looked at your tweet, and he was comparing him to Adam Gase, and I was like, please, for the love of God, don't do that. Just don't do it because it's not right. And whether or not it's accurate as much, I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, he needs more time away from Tom Brady to make that assessment. Like, we know he's not a head coach, and so we need some more time, with a quarterback that's going to be there in the system for a few years, I think, to make that assessment. Adam Gase, safe to stay. It ain't it. It ain't really not it. And to your point earlier about the AFC East and what the Patriots are going to become for the rest of the season, I was really wrong about the Jets. Like, I thought the Patriots were going to be the worst team in the AFC East. They're not far off, but I definitely thought the Jets were going to be better just based off the fact that they had Sam Darnold back. Like, managed to do what they did last year with Sam Darnold having mono. I mean, he's not going to get the kissing disease this year, so they should be able to do more. And it's just been just absolute disaster. And he's been injured again, but so I think that the Patriots will do better than I thought they were going to do. And that's because of Cam. Yeah. What the future of Cam is in New England, I don't know, because it hasn't been consistent from the beginning of the season until now. Again, I think they beat the Jets tonight, but they're going to lose to the Ravens. Texans can go either way, depending really on how the Texans play, because they can put up points. But I think it's going to be Bills, Dolphins, fighting for the top of the AFC East. And I don't know how. Now, the one thing I will say about Bill Belichick, and that's the reason why so many people, to your point, were saying that this is still a 12-win team or whatever. It's respect for Bill Belichick, which I understand. But also, we have ice. Okay, so we see with the roster, we're looking at, we're looking at. So respect for Bill Belichick, I understand. My respect for Bill Belichick lies in what is the move this offseason. This season, I knew was going to be an L. Tom Brady's going to temporarily win this divorce. Just because he's going to a better team, more weapons, he's going to have more flexibility. It's just a better situation for Tom at this point in his career than the Patriots were. Now, what Belichick has up his hoodie is what I'm interested in, because it's never what it seems, right? It's never this whatever surface. You got to go a level deeper with him. So I don't know what his masterful evil plan is, but that's what I'm paying attention to. Whatever he does this offseason, whatever he's cooking up is what I'm concerned about, not what he's doing this year.
You and I talk about the evil darkness connection. Sage the entire facility. Let's ask which Joy Taylor. Listen. You like to bless some people and clear the air and the energy on others. Which facility do we need to sage this week?
Oh, the Chargers. I mean, poor Chargers. Poor Justin Herbert. I feel bad for Anthony Lynn. They are like the new Falcons, just not as dramatic. How?
I understand.
Every week it's the last play. It's wild. It's not even like the Falcons where the Falcons will blow leads. Chargers will play great games, and then it's just blow it on or this last second call. They just can't get right. They need some sage, burn a little incense, put some salt on the corners. You know what I mean? You need to charge your crystals up or something. Something's up. It's too much. It's too much. I really like Anthony Lynn, and I like the Chargers. I hope they'll be a playoff team this year, but they can't get right.
Well, there's a bunch of 5-3 teams right now. As you said, there's going to be a battle for that AFC East crown between the Bills and the Dolphins, because we all know the Patriots are out of it. Oh yeah, it makes you happy. But of the wild card teams, listen, I don't know. The Patriots could still slide in. The Dolphins have a pretty tough schedule at the end of. I mean, you're laughing, but I'm telling you, the Dolphins have a very, very difficult schedule. At the end of this. All right, you want to play this game? We can play this game.
Yeah, let's play win-loss.
Let's play win-loss. All right, let's see. Miami Dolphins. All right. Patriots news? No. All right, let's get this up.
All right, so they got the Chargers next week.
Okay, that is.
And that's at home.
That could be. Listen, I mean, I don't know. That could be.
That could go either way.
Either way.
I think they beat the Broncos. They beat the Jets.
Oh, that could be the swing game, though. I'm telling you, Broncos is always the swing game. I would say 1-1 after that. Okay.
I think let's say they lose to the Chargers or the Broncos.
Yep.
Right? They're gonna go 2-1 in their next 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
Then they have the Bengals, the Chiefs, Patriots, Raiders, and Bills. So I'm gonna say they beat the Bengals, lose to the Chiefs,
lose. You can go 0-4 at the end.
Patriots, beat the Raiders, beat the Bills.
I don't think so. I'm saying 0-4 at the end of that. I'm actually not kidding. Chiefs lose to the Patriots. So if the Patriots beat the Dolphins right there, then that's a switch. Then
How
the
are they going to lose to the Patriots?
I mean, because Brian Flores. Listen, that's what I'm telling you. We were talking about the Texans. You know who the head coaches are right now is Romeo Crennel.
Yeah.
So any of the schemes that, as much as all of the Belichick coaching tree, I mean, you say Belichick coaching tree, you're instantly cursed. So, I mean, I'm going to light some sage.
I think Brian Flores is going to be the one that breaks that curse.
I agree.
Down there. He's got it together. He's running a tight ship.
I agree. And I also think I said on the show, I said Mike Vrabel is the best coaching mind to come out of the Patriots Belichick coaching tree.
I'm very skeptical of Joe Judge because I don't really like that rah run through a wall stuff.
Yeah.
That macho guy
stuff. You're not a Pete Carroll guy?
Yeah, no, I like Pete Carroll, but I just think I like them making the coaches run laps and stuff. Like, okay, I get it. You're trying to like establish a culture of responsibility, but the Giants seem to be buying into it, and they play hard. They're the last year, so I think Joe Judge seems to have it together in New York also. So we'll see. It might turn around for the Belichick coaching tree in the future. It's not been great so far, but I just think, proximity to genius doesn't make you a genius.
Yeah.
But you have a really good teacher, it's going to make you smarter. And I think that's why Andy Reid's coaching tree has been more successful, because Andy Reid is a notorious teacher. He's a great coach, but he likes to teach.
Are you saying that Bill Belichick is not as gracious into teaching his methods to his pupils?
I think
is that what you're saying
I think he has a system. I think he has a way of doing things. And I think he's collaborative, obviously, and he delegates or he wouldn't be successful. But I think it's pretty obvious just based off of, their personalities and the evidence that we have of success versus non-success from their coaching trees, that Andy Reid has the ability to affect how you look at the game and how you create your own personality as a coach, right? A lot of Belichick coaches, it's kind of like baby Belichick. Instead of, I learned from this great teacher, but this is what I want to do. And a lot of coaches have said, like Eric Mangini has said, like when he started coaching, he was just trying to do what Belichick did, when instead he should have taken like what he learned from Belichick and applied it in his own way.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, any of us, like if you have somebody that you work with who has a certain style that's very successful, you have a tendency to kind of, morph that into what you do. And I think, anybody, you should be conscious of, learn what people do that makes them successful and then apply it in your own style. So I think that's what Andy Reid really instills in his coaches and empowers them. And that's why he's had more success. It doesn't make Andy Reid a better coach than Bill Belichick. It's just a different way of approaching things.
I agree. And to that extent too, it's just like, I just also think that anyone that wants to call Andy Reid and say, hey man, I'm having this situation, or, whether this player is trouble or this scheme. And I feel like, this is just assumption. I feel like Andy Reid would be more willing to sit down and explain. I feel like Bill is too often up against his former pupils. No, I feel like he's going head to head with either one of them. And it's just like, everyone wants to take Bill down.
Well, like that's how it goes. When you're the best, you get everybody's best shot.
Yeah.
And that's, you want to take down the greatest. If you're going to get that mantle.
Yeah.
You got to take it down.
Speaking of the greatest, What's your impressions or initial impressions of the early games, the 2-0 Miami Dolphins under Tua Tagovailoa?
So in all honesty, I liked Burrow more in the draft.
Yeah.
And I kind of had Herbert and Tua about the same,
Mm-hmm.
only because of the injuries. Now, I liked Herbert a lot more than most people did coming into the draft because I really liked what I saw from him in the bowl game. So with college quarterbacks, I look for accuracy because you have to throw people open in the NFL as opposed to throwing open receivers. So I think how accurate you are in college is super important. And I want to see what you do in big spots where all the lights are on and the crowd and the pressure. How do you perform in those games? Like how many you win during the season, what your stats are other than how accurate you are. Okay, like most college systems, guys are going to put up decent numbers. But things that matter to me, the most important thing. So obviously Burrow crushed in every big test that he had, and he elevated that team. And you can see that now, obviously they lost other pieces as well, but LSU is not good this year. Like, what a place is after you leave kind of matters when you're in that role. So I liked Burrow a lot. The thing with Tua that I didn't like was the injuries.
Yeah.
I think availability is an ability. Like availability is skill. There's a reason why LeBron James is the greatest player in the league right now. He's never hurt. He's always available. He's always there in the big moments. Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, like these guys take excellent care of their bodies, and through also some luck, they are always available. So somebody who's had multiple injuries makes me a little bit nervous, but I didn't mind the pick for Miami. Like it was very obvious Tua. I think he fits Miami perfectly. His personality is perfect for this team. He's clearly a leader. He has great energy, and he's good. Like if he's able there, we know what he's capable of because we saw it. And had he not gotten injured, he would have gone number 1 overall over Joe Burrow. Yeah. Regardless of how the season turned out, because he's already a star and already had a huge potential. So the injury changed things. So I was excited that Miami took him and committed to him because they've obviously seen him over Herbert. And so it was no surprise to me that Herbert was doing well in I almost said San Diego with the
Oregon. Oregon. Oh, the LA Chargers. Oh, I thought you were talking about college.
But yeah, I'm not surprised Tua is doing well. I think now listen, I thought they were very conservative with him in the first game. But so what? Like
no, that was definitely on Brian Flores. He even spoke out and said, "Listen, like if that's my kid, I'm not just going to throw him out there just based on the injury history. I'm going to make sure."
Who cares if the defense is scoring and the special teams is scoring? You don't need them to go out there and throw 30 times and possibly throw the game away. And it's for an NFL star. Like who cares? Who cares? Yeah. You can win multiple ways. Even better. I love teams that can win multiple ways.
Yeah,
the Dolphins defense has been playing amazing. Obviously, they need to improve their offensive line. And I think it did a nice job against the Cardinals, who don't have a bad defense.
No.
So I was really impressed with Tua's ability to escape when things got a little scary, because that's been critiques of him, is that he thinks he's more athletic and he has more escapability than he does. But I thought he was very smooth and moved through the pocket really well. I liked him, when he was throwing downfield. He was obviously very accurate. I think he just has it. He has what that thing that you're looking for a starting quarterback. I know it's only been 2 games, but look, he didn't throw it away in the first game, and they needed him to make big plays in the second game, and he did against a good Arizona team, and Kyler Murray, who played an amazing game himself. So I feel really, really good about it. I think it's a perfect match for Miami. I think the team loves him. I thought it was the exact perfect time to switch to him. I know Dolphins fans were freaking out about Fitzpatrick, which is just nonsense. Like, you have a rookie quarterback that you took at the top of the draft. You have to find out what you have in him. Yeah. You know what Ryan Fitzpatrick is. So what if he gets you to the wild card, or what, you make the playoffs with Ryan Fitzpatrick? Like, what did you accomplish?
Yep.
Nothing. Like, okay, great. Congrats. You get a cookie. You're going to get knocked in the first round. And now what? Now Tua sat for an entire year. You don't know what you have in him. You're too good to get another pick if it turns out that he is not what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So I thought it was the perfect time. Give him an extra 2 weeks during the bye before the Rams, and I think Brian Flores knows what he's doing. Like,
yeah,
I liked it.
All right. I mean, I agree. Listen, I'm rooting for the Miami Dolphins as well, just because given how many players that we've kind of just shipped down there on a dime, from the Patriots to the Dolphins, it's a great system down there. Last thing, I just want to let's do story time. Can we tell the story for everyone that doesn't know me and Joy? I mean, we go way back. We go way back since actually you had that hairstyle in Miami.
My hair was
the same Heat Media Day photo.
Yep.
And I'll post this picture. I mean, this was little me. It's like, hey, it's my first solo go around for Heat Me. Interviewing all the players, and I mean, that's such a great photo. So I mean, tell the story about when. So Joy had a decision to make right before she went to Fox Sports in LA. And she's like, Cora, like, I need your opinion on a bunch of the stuff, whether or not I stayed the ticket in Miami, let's get some breakfast. And we sat down and, I looked at you straight in the face. You're like, should I stay for this? And I go, girl, run for the hills. I was like, get out of Miami. You got to go. But there's something that happened right after that you brought this to my attention. You made me remind myself of it, of when your car got towed.
Oh my God. I'm like, I have no idea where Courtney's going with this. So I hope that we don't have to edit this out. Because we have some of those stories too. But,
we got plenty of those stories.
So we're at Icebox in Miami on South Beach.
Yep.
Having lunch, and we're there so long. So Miami is South Beach specifically is notorious for towing your car. Like, they will tow your car so quick. You will go in the store, come out, and that is gone. And so I come out. I'm like, I swear I parked my car here. And I'm looking around like, I know I parked my car on the street. So my car is not on the street. It's definitely gone. And I'm like, damn, they got me. So I called Courtney, and I'm like, or maybe you were even still with me. I don't know.
No, we're still with you. And then you called me. You're like, you were frantic and crying.
Like, damn, that is the worst. Like, the worst. Getting your car towed. Like, a ticket is bad, but when they take your car, like, it's
300. It's 300 quick. It's $300 quick.
You might not get it out that day, depending on if it's still open or not. Like, it's a whole process, and it is a pain in the ass. And I'm pissed because, like, they got me. So I'm like, damn, Court, they got me. Like, when my car is towed, I'm sick. And Courtney straight is the most gangsters thing I ever seen. She just looked at me and was like, oh, it's fine. Like, I know them. We got it. Let's go get it. I'm like, what did you say? She was like, yeah, let's just go get it. Like, I know them. I'm like, you know the tow company. Like, that's a very specific, like, group of people to be in with. We walk like 5 blocks over, and she walks in and, like, calls the owner, and he's like, yeah, like, blah, 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 whatever. They just gave me my keys. I drove the car out. And I was like, damn.
I made some calls. Listen, I got people.
Calls. Like, I don't even know who Courtney rolls with like that.
You're like, shit, should I be friends with you now?
You can stay. I was blown away, because that is not a group of people that people just know.
So I got my car ticketed and towed so many times that I became best friends with the tow lot guys. And when I tell you that, like, one of them, because it's beach towing, and then it's the Miami tow lot, that was the it's Miami beach towing, and there's another one. There's 2 of them that are next to each other. So it's like completely different. If you know one guy at one tow lot, you can't know the guy at the tow lot the next time. So I became so close with both of them that one of the guys at beach towing, I mean, he brought me into his, like, mafia hangout room. He's like, yo, girl, like, just sit down and chill. And he had like pictures of, like, old Italian mafia guys on the walls. And yeah, I mean, I was actually kind of really surprised when I was in there. I was like, this kind of seems like a very shady relationship. That's cool.
I mean, it's sometimes you got to have shady relationships. I don't have them in every city yet, but yeah, that I don't consider it to be shady. I thought that was a very helpful relationship to have. But I was like, I ain't never seen nothing like this. Like, not the tow company. It doesn't say who you are. They're gonna be like, put them right there on the counter, and we will gladly give you your car back.
Oh, I know. I called my guy Manny. I was like, yo, it's my girl Joy Taylor. She got her car. He's like, all right. He's like, just it's all good.
I couldn't believe it.
Nice. Hey, listen,
I'd rather wait so fast. I'm like, don't let them change their mind. We just scoot on out of here. Yeah, I can believe that.
I know.
Not about that.
It's special occasions for special people because they don't do that for everyone. I remember I was like subletting on Airbnb for my apartment, and I had to pay half of the tow fee, just for like randoms. But like if it's a special friend of mine, then they got you. But listen, after this interview's over, I'll DM you the numbers. So anytime you have any issues.
I'm not trying to have no smoke. I'm an Uber down there now, but
I know.
Yeah, that was love though. I forgot all about that. I wasn't sure where you were going with that story, but yeah, I forgot about that.
I was trying to. Well, you brought that up at your Halloween party last year.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's where we were talking about it.
And you brought it up, and I was like, "Oh my god, I forgot the story."
I forgot about that. Yeah, that was gangster. It was.
Oh man, pre-COVID, like we used to have Halloween parties. We could walk through the streets and, enjoy brunches and matchas together, and
Close. They said they got a vaccine, so like hopefully in a couple months everybody will have it, and we'll be good to go. I think.
Well, the first place that I'm going. I mean, moving back to LA is a priority for me. So, we'd
love to have you back. LA misses you.
Yes.
But yeah, we gotta get that vaccine cranking.
Yeah,
Are you gonna
what?
Are you gonna take it?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, okay, good.
Put that in my arm right now. Like literally, they're like, oh, do you know what was so funny is because in Moderna Inc., which is the second one. It's like the Pfizer one, and then it's Moderna. They are the other ones that have potentially the new vaccine, and they've been running these trials for the last like 6 months, and they're based out of Cambridge, which I live in Cambridge. So there's about 30,000 people, I think, in this last phase 3 that they've been testing, and that I had a conspiracy theory in the summer. The reason that COVID rates were below 1% in the entire state of Massachusetts was because of that COVID trial, which obviously our numbers are not as good right now, as long as the rest of the country is, going up. But yeah, they were asking me, they're like, would you be interested every time I take a COVID test? Would you be interested in, a COVID vaccine trial? Please, by all means. I'd be the first one there, the second one there for that second dose. I mean, listen, like I'm blessed. I don't have any underlying health issues, but some of the people that are anti-vaxxers and then they're like demanding that, COVID ends, they have no say because,
it's so much anxiety on a day-to-day basis.
Exactly.
But I know they need to get it to frontline workers, and they need to get it to teachers and doctors and nurses and, everybody who has to work at grocery stores, and all those people get it first.
Yeah.
I know, because they're phasing it out, but hopefully I'm hopeful that by next spring that we're good, or at least we're trending towards some kind of normalcy. But in the meantime, I'm managing it. We got sports back. I'm grateful for that. So
curious, and maybe because you guys, I don't know who has the Super Bowl this year, but have they told you any of the preliminary plans for Super Bowl right now?
I believe it's CBS. CBS has it this year.
Okay.
In Tampa. We don't go to the Super Bowl unless Fox has it.
Yeah.
It's just not.
That set last year, I asked my friends, cost at least $7 million. They said $6-7 million. That set you guys had sprawled out.
Unbelievable setup for the Super Bowl. It was amazing. It was like Foxland.
It really was. Like Mahogany mahogany wood floors and all around the screens. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was gorgeous. They did an amazing job. I don't know what the Super Bowl is going to look like this year. It is in Tampa. It is in Florida. So they are, from what I understand, allowed to have full capacity.
Really?
So I don't know that they will.
Is that public yet?
Yeah. Well, I know.
Sure?
Yeah, because the governor, I saw that they were approved it for Dolphin Stadium. So I'm assuming that they did it for the whole state. But obviously the Dolphins have not, and either Tampa has, brought in full capacity, because it's not, I mean, that's not.
They would get vilified by the national media.
It's not logical to do that.
No.
They're not going to put their staff at risk and their team at risk to do that either. Right now, but I think that they will be allowed to. Whether they will or not, I doubt it. They'll probably do whatever the maximum capacity around the league is for fans right now, which I have to imagine is either Texas or Florida.
Yeah.
Or maybe Arizona, I don't know. But whatever, I'm sure they'll do that capacity for the Super Bowl. I mean, it's going to look different this year. There's not going to be as many fan activities. They've already canceled the Pro Bowl.
Did they really? When did they do that?
They canceled Pro Bowl a couple weeks ago. They're going to do like some kind of interactive activities or something. You're still going to get go to the Pro Bowl. Like, you're still going to get the title of Pro Bowler. They're just not going to have the game this year, which, I mean, that's to be expected. And they may, depending on how, the scheduling plays out because of the games that have been moved around, they may need that extra week anyway. Hopefully not. But
hopefully,
yeah. I mean, the leagues have done an amazing job, so I'm sure they're going to do, the best that they're capable of for the Super Bowl this year. It's going to still be, a great game. Whoever makes it,
for sure. It's not going to take away. Clearly, I think it's the biggest surprise. At least, not surprise for a lot of people. A lot of people are surprised that they have continued to play games the way that they've played so far this year, but. Yeah, the quality hasn't taken it back. It's disappointing that we aren't able to go to games, but I think that the bottom line is just keep the teams alive. And I'm hoping that the NBA season can start on time, that the NBA can put in kind of a non-bubble situation. I don't think anyone from the NBA or the NHL wants to even remotely think about going back into a bubble.
Yeah, that's they've said they're starting it back up in December 22nd. Yeah. So I think they're going to have regional bubbles, but yeah, I mean, just getting the sports on TV was the most important thing, obviously, for multiple reasons. But they've done a great job, and honestly, seeing games without fans it's not bothered me. No,
it's not bothered me either.
I know it's hard for the players. I'm sure they're starting to get used to it, but when they're in the completely empty stadiums, it's a little different, especially for quarterbacks and offenses. But as far as a viewer, it's not, and maybe just from watching the NBA and watching baseball, I was kind of already prepared for what it was going to look like. And I think the NBA did an unbelievable job with the aesthetics. I got so used to it, I forgot they were
exactly
friends there. So it's been great. They've done such an incredible job considering the circumstances.
Yeah, I agree. I couldn't agree more. Well, I won't keep you any longer. It's my girl. I love you.
Love you too.
See, always our sign off. Love you, boo.